Hello YouTube, it is Survivor Nomad and I am back with another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about another weapon of narcissists. I'm doing an entire series on the weapons, the most common weapons that narcissists use, and this is another weapons video. Okay, so guys, one of the weapons of narcissists is contracts. And these contracts run the gamut from one extreme to the other. What I mean by contracts are generally any agreement where you are bound. These can be verbal contracts, they can be legal contracts, they can be promises, they can be all kinds of things for the narcissist. Promissory notes. Marriage is a contract, guys. Some of them want to be in all different kinds of agreement with you, and some of those things are within your power and some of them are not. And what do I mean by that? Like, you just may not know how you're being suckered into a contract, into, I guess I could call it a covenant. Really is what they try to get you into, because it can be verbal as well. It doesn't have to be written out on paper, and it doesn't have to be anything legal. Of course, the more legal and the more binding the contract is, the better for the narcissist. They really love marriages. They really love children. Not because they love children, but because they love to keep you. One of the things that happens when you have a child with someone is that you're kind of bounded to that person for the rest of your life, for the rest of that child's life. Even after that child is an adult, you have to think that there's going to be weddings. There's going to be babies that come from this child that you both have together. And so there are going to be times throughout the rest of your lives where you will end up having to see each other or deal with each other in some way. And this is very powerful for narcissists because it gives them ample amount of supply basically for the rest of both you guys' lives. This is why it's so important that you do not have children with them if you can help it. If you know that you're dealing with this kind of person, you definitely want to avoid having children with them, because they've got you for life, guys. They've got you for life if you have a child with them. And, you know, I'm not trying to, make anyone feel bad who already has kids with narcissists. Of course, many of us did not know that that's what we were dealing with. And, the children are already here, and children, of course, are a gift. And so there is nothing negative about it at all because the child is a gift. However, the repercussions of having to deal with the other parent, having to co-parent with a narcissist, can be detrimental. And it is a sort of covenant because you're stuck there for the rest of your life, having to try to get along with someone who is impossible to deal with. You guys know what I'm talking about. Another thing that they will do concerning children, if you are very independent and the narcissist knows it, if you have already stated that you're not ready for children yet, and this can happen a lot with men, where they find that the woman is pregnant and it's like, what? I thought you said you were on birth control. Well, she's got you now. She's trapped you. And she is going to be able to get copious amounts of supply from you, in addition to money for the child and everything else, guys. She can make your life a living hell. Okay? And the same thing goes for men, because men do it too, where they get a woman pregnant and you both agree that you weren't going to have children yet, and boom, what do you know? You're pregnant. And please don't think for a second that men do not do this. They do it. If they feel that that is the only way to trap you and to get you into a covenant with them, they will do it. Narcissistic men will do it. And they will also, if let's just say you have this thing about being a single mom and you've always wanted to be with the person you have kids with, a lot of times, to be hurtful in a discard, they will get you pregnant, and then after they get you pregnant, that's when they pull the mask off. That's when they start to really go in with the abuse, and that's when they really start to tell you look horrible, you look like a cow, and they're just going in on you, and you just can't believe it, because months before, You got pregnant, he was an angel. This is a part of the abuse cycle, guys. They have you in that covenant, and once they get you in that covenant, they know they can pretty much treat you in any way that they want now. They don't have to, the kid gloves are off. They don't have to be nice to you anymore. They don't have to wear the mask anymore. They got you. So please be careful of those kind of covenants. If you are making promises to a narcissist, if you're telling them, oh, I'm going to be with you forever and blah, 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 and you guys aren't even married, this is a covenant, guys. They take this thing seriously. Oftentimes they see you as their possessions. And even after you try to leave them, they will still have claim to you. They will continue to harass you. They'll stalk you. They will do anything they can to get back the control over you because they feel that they own you. You're a possession to them. They don't even really see you as a human, okay? Another covenant that they love to make is they want you in contracts with them. They want you signing leases, signing contracts in businesses. They want you trapped, guys. They want you binded legally and financially to where it's really, really difficult for you to get out. Now, if the abuse and the love for them is not enough, they're adding all of these things on top of it. They will constantly try to talk you into doing things that will have you stuck with them, or either stuck in some kind of financial situation, or even stuck in a certain location for an amount of time, to give them time to really hone in on the abuse and to really abuse you and have you in a place where you feel you can't break free. You can't just walk away because you just bought a new house with them. You can't just walk away because you just started this new business with them. They want to get you to go into business with them because they know that that's binding, and they know that people you generally don't just up and walk away from these kind of agreements. Okay? So they want you to do these things, so please avoid it. If you haven't known someone for very long, you shouldn't be getting into any kind of covenants or agreements or anything legal or financially with them anyway. Don't let them talk you into doing it, guys, because you'll find yourself having to be the one to pay on the loans that are defaulted on. You'll find yourself having to be the one to have to finish paying out leases, and they're not going to contribute and they're not going to help. They're going to come up with every excuse in the world why they can't help you and why they can't do it. Some of them will even talk you into it and then make like it was your decision. Oh, you wanted to do that. I never wanted to do that. And that's really, even more hurtful to you because you're like, what? I never wanted to even get this house. You wanted this house, and you did it for them, trying to show them that you really love them and you care about them. They do not care. They could care less about how you feel about them. This is about using you. This is about getting you into an agreement, into a covenant so that they can abuse you, okay? It's just that simple, guys, okay? So another thing that narcissists will do is they will try to get you to move somewhere with them, far away from your family, far away from your friends. They want you by yourself. They don't want you to be able to reach out for help if you need help. They want you somewhere where they can control you and where no one can watch and no one can look out for you. So they want you to agree to do this, especially moving to another country, guys. Please, please, please don't do this. There are certain countries where you don't have the same rights that you would have in the U.S. And you just have to be very careful. I knew a girl who was planning to move to another country for this guy. And I told her, I said, you need to look up the laws for women in that country. And you need to make sure that you understand fully what you're doing before you do it. I never told her not to do it. I just told her to be informed. Because the country where she was going, guys, women don't have a lot of rights there. In fact, they have very few rights. And it was scary hearing her say that she was about to move there with this guy that she hadn't known that long. And of course she didn't, and she contacted me back after doing some research, and she's like, wow, I'm so glad you told me that. But this is just one example where she was willing to go across the world. Guys, please do not do this. Once they get you somewhere, they may take your passport. They can do any number of things to you. In certain countries, if you say that somebody raped you or they did something to you, you could be jailed. Like, You know, like, this is just not a game. You have to really think these things through. And so know who you're dealing with. Know what that person's morals are. Know what their integrity is like. Know what their background is like. How is their upbringing? These are questions you need to be asking from the beginning, so that when they start to ask you to get into these contracts, you kind of know where they're headed with it. Okay, and you can better protect yourself. If you don't know much about that person and you don't know much about their culture, it's going to be very hard for you to see the pitfalls and the dangers and the red flags of these covenants and these agreements, guys. Don't sign leases with them. Don't get into contracts. If you're going to do it yourself. You know, if you really want to do it, don't do it as a combined effort. Do it on your own and make sure you can cover the cost of it. Make sure you have the money to be able to get yourself out of a bind if you find yourself in one. Don't just do it for love. It is not worth it, guys. There's no love from their end. It's all fun and games for them. Okay? So the number one powerful weapon of narcissists is covenants and agreements. And they try to get you into those by trying to convince you that if you love them, you would do it. Guys, it's just a game. Don't fall for it. You can love somebody without getting into an agreement that's going to financially ruin you, ruin your credit. Don't get credit cards and give them credit cards in your name. Do not. If somebody is not contributing as much as you are to a relationship, you need to be considering, why is that? You need to be asking yourself, what is going on here? Okay? Not that you can't help each other out, but just be aware of the person that you're dealing with before you make these agreements. You get into these covenants, these leases, these businesses, because survivors everywhere are being ruined financially, legally, emotionally. It's so stressful when you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissistic person, a person with narcissism. It's even worse when you find yourself in some kind of business dealing with them, because they can really destroy you. So be very careful, guys. If you're working with them, you need to be careful. If you start to get red flags and you're dating somebody you're working with, it's gonna turn out really bad for you. Please be careful, guys. So I am going to end this video here. I will come with another weapons video. Please hit the notifications bell and subscribe and share with your friends and family, guys. See you on the next video.